Could be 3 lifetimes ago or something. But when we met, it was kind of like, there you are. I've been missing you. I haven't seen him for years, and yet I carry him with me. When I see something happening, I think, what would Scott do with that? How would he make this?
What would Jesus do? What would Scott do?
Positive.
Could we maybe make money off of that, like a bracelet or something? Yeah.
Because you have that ability. Take the doo-doo and make it into something positive.
What would Scott do now?
Yeah. Sounds like it. Yeah, and it works so well. So think about that. If you're running into any kind of problems, and that person on the freeway pulls in front of you, and you say, Scott, I want you to handle this because I don't have it. We'll just give it to Scott to be able to calm it down.
We've got a song for that.
Cool it down. Yeah. He has a song for just about anything. So, what I'd like you all to do is please put your hands together for Scott Grace.
Yay! Woohoo!
I'm going to let you, if you want to talk about your history or your love life or anything, I'll let you do it. How's that?
You give me so much space. Feel so space.
So spatial?
That's correct. All right, you haven't done this. Most churches do this at the beginning of the sermon. You take out your cell phones, and what do you do? All right, well, just because this is the Center for Creative Living and we don't do things by rote, how about we take out our cell phones and keep them on?
Yeah, find the lighter app and...
dial your best friend or your mother or something and let them hear this song. You gotta sing. I want you to sing chorus on this. It's so sing-alongable. It goes like this. I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole wide world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone. There you go. I got Google and Siri in my phone. I got Google and Siri. In my phone, I got Google and Siri. In my phone, I got the whole world in my phone. Everybody! I got the whole world. In my phone, I got the whole world. In my phone, I got the whole world. In my phone, I got the whole world in my phone. Now listen up. I don't need imagination. I got games, I don't need to use my voice. I got text, I don't need to wear a condom. Porn's the safest sex, I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole wide world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone. Why should I ever look up? I got phone, I'm just a little too busy on my phone, and human contact makes me dizzy. I got phone, I got the whole world in my phone. Right. I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole wide world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone. How could I ever be bored? I got phone, how could I ever feel lonely? I got phone, I think I found my one and only. Love my phone, I got the whole world in my phone. I found my wife and kids on eBay. On my phone, I was the highest bidder. On my phone, the kids don't need a babysitter. They got phones, they got the whole world in their phones. I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole wide world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone. I got the whole world in my phone.
Yay! Woo!
Dottie is right about me. There's something I do where I filter life through the energy of music. And in other words, what song would I be singing about this moment if life was a musical in which we were intended to break out in song in any given moment? That's my purpose in life, is to just break out in song about things that people don't sing about. Things that are painful. Yeah.
I forgot my phone.
Oh, you forgot your phone. Well, you can see, you got...
It's an emergency.
I forgot my phone, left it at home. I feel lighter, give me a bone. I don't have to have my phone every minute of my life.
Woo! Sing it.
Somehow I lost my phone and still everything is alright. But just so you know, I let my mind wander and play and get naughty and get into trouble. And sometimes Spirit uses that willingness of mine to come up with interesting songs. Like I was at a Kenny Loggins concert and I heard him singing, "Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey." And I just let my mind wander to the first time he sang that song. He wrote the song, probably didn't have much money. And then the song made him a millionaire. And then I just wondered how he feels singing that song now that he's a multimillionaire. Does he have integrity issues with singing that song? Does he get bored with it? Does he love it? How does he feel about that song? And then I let my mind wander further, and I thought, I wonder if Donald Trump sings that song. And then I just let my mind wander further, and my mind went, no, I don't think he does. He probably has to change the words to make it more of a Donald Trump song. And then I thought, what would he sing? And this is what I came up with. This would be the first time I ever sang this song at a church. Just so you know, you're special.
Oh, thank you.
People say I'm insecure underneath it all, that I built my towers so tall.
What?
Was it Eve or a snake or the wrong choice of trees? The day-to-day play. I know you're reacting because this is your story. It's all of our stories. The day-to-day play, all the joy they were given, gave way to the sense we must work for a living. And God did reply, kids, you gotta be kidding. Everything you could want is right here, not forbidden. But they could not receive the good news. They thought that to play they must first pay their dues. By the sweat of thy brow we must now earn our bread. And they didn't know the gluten had gone to their heads. Then they passed this confusion right on to their kids, hiding their loins with more leaves for more figs, teaching their offspring original sin, who then passed it off to their nextest of kin. And they made their cause noble. They justified pain. To suffer's God's will. No pain means no gain. And if you have struggled through life unabated, when you croak, your rewards card will be activated. That's when you cash in all your hard sacrifices and rest up in heaven with the rest of the righteous. And so human beings, they assumed the position of forgetting God's love did not come with conditions. They dreamed up a God with a list of demands, with rules and with judgments and a whip in his hands. And over the seas came the pure Puritans to spread the work ethic all over the land. The pleasures of life must not ever be trusted. If you dare enjoy sex, you're eternally busted. God sits on a cloud with his one only son, and they both wear a frown if you have too much fun. But if you could grab a bull right by its horns, well then God is pleased and might send less shitstorms. And then on your tombstone your tribute might say, say. She worked hard for the money and toiled each day. He played by the rules, never did make a scene, and here lies his body along with his dreams. Most folks are not dead yet, just taking a snooze, asleep at the wheel driven by their to-dos. The average adult has a list that won't stop, and to be who you are is just not near the top. But when your to-bes become priorities, you can fly through to-dos with the greatest of ease. But when your to-dos make to-bes disappear, you get caught in to-do-dos, right up to your ears. So what in the world is this thing, struggling? Allow me to define it, this world-famous thing. It's trying and trying and trying so hard with your own ego strength that is no match for God's. You're doing your best, and it's very courageous, but I'll do it myself is not self-advantageous. But when you join hands with the powers that be, then your source takes the lead, and she leads you for free. So struggling is simply a well-worn belief, and beliefs can be bygones, replaced and released. See, what's a belief but a thought you've been thinking so long and so hard that it's doing some stinking? And when you can smell your own moldy beliefs, you break out of the mold and you get some relief. By now, are you thinking enough is enough, that there's life beyond struggle and you just gotta trust? Then woo-hoo, you're ready to drop that belief and reclaim what's under your ancient fig leaf. 'Cause under your cover there's nothing to hide. That slippery serpent's been speaking some jive. We don't work for a living, we're already alive. We're not here for surviving, we be here to thrive.
Yay!
We're not human doings, we're beings born to fly. So get out your cell phone and send out a text to your family and friends, all your loved nervous wrecks. And tell them their nerves need no longer be taxed. They can travel downstream and be much more relaxed. And if they say, hey, that just makes me afraid, 'cause lazy don't pay me, there's bills to be paid. Let them see easy does it is working for you, that your life has your back and your trust sees you through. And if they say, no way, Jose, that's just fine. Not everyone's hip to the trip, they're divine. But everyone gets there in their own sweet time. And you help them the most when you're staying aligned. Staying aligned, staying aligned. Staying aligned. And so, when your isness becomes your main business, you feel just like Santa the eve before Christmas. There's so much to give and so much to receive, and it happens as easy as breath when you breathe. The breath breathes itself with no push, no shove, and so goes your life when you know that you're loved. And if you work hard and do work up a sweat, it's only because you so love getting wet. Because when you're inspired, you follow your bliss. Even when you perspire, it feels effortless. Like the work that you're doing is being done through you. And you're thrilled to be letting the universe do you. Please email this poem, although some might delete it, and post it on Facebook and on Twitter. Tweet it. Because millions are ready to hear the good news that struggle's a choice that you don't have to choose. And struggle-free living, oh my, how we love it. We flow down the stream on the boat, easy does it. And easy does do it. We find out at last, we don't stop at the tolls, we just use easy pass. We're taking it light in the slow lane or fast, 'cause the joke's been on us, and we finally can laugh. I have one final message and then I must go. You can't give up struggle completely, you know. There are rites of passages, powerful rites, when struggle's a part of you birthing more life. Try reading this poem to a woman in labor. She'd say, "Out of my face, don't do me no favors." Our struggles are sometimes endearingly human. They spice up our life like fresh garlic or... So next time you struggle, please don't self-attack. Don't struggle with struggle. Let's cut you some slack. Because when you are kind to yourself in your struggles, the kindness alone brings relief on the double. And so, to wrap up now, because I'm feeling spent, let's sacrifice struggle this Easter for Lent. Or just do it now. Why procrastinate when the garden of ease is your natural state? It's been waiting with patience, and it's well worth the wait. The garden of ease is our natural state. It's everyone's birthright and everyone's fate. The garden of ease is our natural state.
Hey. Great.
You can. You can have that in your computer faster than the speed of giving me some money. How many people on the planet these days, approximately?
Many.
7 billion. 7 billion. It's not million. We have 7 million in San Jose.
Yes, we do. Believe it.
All the struggling we're doing is leading us to ruin and making our spirits sad. And those apples we're eating have been so self-defeating, hiding and dividing into good and bad. It's time we make a change, back to square one, back to the truth that we're children of the sun. A new day is dawning, child is born. There's one of us here and we're 7 billion strong. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. Sing it out. Back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. There's a seed that's been sowing, 2,000 years of growing, with fruit that is out of sight. And it's time for the picking, as something in you quickens. The tree of Galilee is finally ripe. It's time to make a change, back to square one, back to the truth that we're children of the sun. A new day is dawning, a child is born. There's one of us here and we're 7 billion strong. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. People everywhere are learning that it's time to share. No one can find peace of mind alone. We can come to trust the power that created us. It's love that brings us all the way back home. Back to the garden. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. Keep singing that. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden again. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. We're going back to the garden, back to the garden, back to the garden again. We're going home. We go back to the garden, which we never left. Every time we trade fear in for love, every time we trade conflict in for peace, every time we let go of trying to be right about something and just accept that what is going on is okay. We don't have to be at war with what is. We go back to the garden when we let go of guilt and remember our innocence. When we stop being ashamed and start being illumined with love for who we are. I remember when I wrote that song, there were 5 billion people on the planet. I'm looking forward to there being 8 billion, because 7 is not the right number for that song.
Wait a day.
And I must have written 14 years ago because it made sense to say 2,000 years of growing. I think it was the year 2000. Now it doesn't make too much sense anymore.
Yeah.
The song is not, it needs, what does it need? It needs a makeover.
Refresh.
Revamping, yeah. It needs cumin! But we go back to the garden every time we let go of struggle and we invite ourselves to take it easy. Whatever it is, there's a belief system that thinks that we need to work harder in order to fix, heal, or change something. And then we start pushing because we're listening to fear as if fear was our guidance counselor. We start pushing ourselves. We try to stay on the computer a little longer just to get something done. And we're listening to the God of fear telling us that we need to struggle. I'm committed to not struggling. I'm just committed to that. It's my commitment to planet Earth to be one of the ambassadors of ease, one of the people who are just letting oxygen flow through my body instead of struggle. And then it's catching. It's a contagious thing. People get it. Well, that's why we love to spend time around children. Because we get a little osmosis of who we really are. They're not in the paralysis of analysis. They're in the beingness of life. Just letting themselves be. And a lot of us need to take ourselves off the hook so we can allow ourselves to just be. And then life flows. It's like there's a garden hose and we've got a kink in it. We kink up the garden hose with our shoulds. I should be doing this better. I should be doing this differently. I should forgive that person. Boy, that's one of the big enemies of forgiveness, thinking that you should forgive. Lots of shoulds. Kink up the garden hose, and then the waters of life, the garden of life, cannot flow freely through us. Yeah, so who's willing to unkink? We'll be doing some unkinking at the workshop today from 1 to 3 in this room, so that the garden of ease can flow through you again. We'll be using EFT in the way that I've been channeling it. It's a way of allowing energetic transmissions from the heavenly realm to flow through us in places where we're kind of stuck, where we're struggling and thinking that more hard work is going to change things. Pushing can make things happen better. No, not really. It just makes our garden hose kink up, which takes the form of cancer, takes the form of pain, physical pain. And the purpose of physical pain is to tell you, brother or sister, what you are thinking is not in harmony with the flow of life. So it's just a message from your Creator saying, you are the thinker, you're thinking thoughts that are pushing life instead of allowing life. You know, so you're hurting yourself, is what the message of pain is. Stop hurting yourself. So I first became addicted to ease. I'll tell you a little bit of my history, why I'm an ease addict, not in recovery. I had had a friend who I was just hanging out with, and she just discovered that she had to move within 30 days. She had a child, and this was down in San Diego where I used to live, and she just went into freak-out mode, and first reaction, the Course in Miracles says, the ego always speaks first. Its voice is always the loudest, and it is always wrong. So that's a way of saying your first reaction is usually not your higher self. So you need to let go of believing that your first reaction is something to listen to. So as she freaked out, I listened to her, she vented, I empathized with her fear, and then I said, let's go through a guided visualization. Close your eyes and let's begin to imagine that this move turns out to be the easiest move of your life. That somehow it just flows, and that you are grateful for this move, this new home, that it's a step up, it's better, it's easier, it's more fun than any move you've ever had. And she started smiling, and we started being playful about it. She's like, boy, this sounds like New Age mumbo-jumbo to me. And I said, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but let's just imagine it. Let's just have fun with this. And we did, and we let the visualization go. We just let it go. Talked about other things, didn't make a big deal out of it. And then the next morning she woke up, went to get the morning paper, and there was a for rent sign on the house next door she had not seen before. And she thought, oh my God. And she investigated the situation, and it turned out that it was appropriate, it was right, it was meant to be. She saw the sign, she moved into the house next door, and it turned out it was the easiest move of her life.
Yay! Woo!
We have nothing to fear but fear itself, because when we're not in fear, these creative solutions just come to us. So the only important thing to do with your free time, with your free will, with your freedom of mind, is to let go of fear. Fear. Struggle is another word for fear. Struggle is what we do in life when we've bought the illusion that there's something to be afraid of. So that was an interesting experience. I wouldn't say that was life-changing for me. It was just something I remember as being one of the seeds along the way. But there was a life-changing experience I had about 4 years ago that made me change my name from Scott Kalechstein to Scott Grace. Because after this experience, I felt like I can't go back to the way I was, who I was. So let me tell you what happened. Every Memorial Day weekend, I go to the East Coast with my friends Joyce and Barry Vassell, and we lead a couples retreat. Been doing it for 22 years. It's in a place called Rowe Camp and Conference Center, which is like a little bit, it's like Esalen, but it's much smaller, and it's in Massachusetts. And every Memorial Day weekend, at the end, Monday afternoon, somehow I have to go, I don't have to, but I choose to go to New York City to visit my mother, who lives in Midtown Manhattan. And I usually tend to struggle to get there because there's public transportation involved. Taking suitcases with books and CDs. And I just do it. And then I have gigs after that on the East Coast. I do what I call my East Coast tour. So I bring a lot of books and a lot of CDs, a lot of product to sell, and I'm all raring to go. Well, 4 years ago, I had some lower back issues. My back was saying, brother, it's time to stop struggling. Your body doesn't support this anymore. Your body will not support you in pushing yourself to get things done. So my back was expressing that I had graduated from struggle. I just didn't know it yet. So I experienced it as pain. So at the end of the weekend, I'm packing my stuff on Monday morning, getting ready for the end, and I just picked up these bags, and my back said, you cannot do this. You will not do this. I refuse to let you struggle your way to New York City. And all I knew was I wasn't going to New York City via the route of struggle. I put the bags down. I said a prayer. Mother, Father, God, I refuse to struggle. I'm open to another way. Show me the way. And I imagined getting to New York struggle-free, the easiest move of my life. And I let it go. I walked into the retreat. I had about 10 minutes before the first segment was going to start. Somebody just came over to me and said, "So where are you off to after this is over?" And I said, "New York City." And he said, "Oh, that's where we're going." He pointed to his wife. And I said, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Where are you off to?" I said, "My mother's house." He goes, "Where is that?" "My mother lives on the Upper West Side." He goes, "Oh, that's where we're going. We have an apartment up there." So I said, "Wow." And he goes, "Tell me where your mother lives." I said, 66 Avenue, West End Avenue, 100. And he goes, "Oh my God, that's where our apartment is. We have..." So I ended up getting door-to-door service, not having to really lift my bags much at all. And it was after that experience. By the way, that really happened. I did not make it up. Out of all the apartments in New York City, I got a lift right where I was going to go. Right after I committed myself to not struggling. And there was some earth-shaking foundational shift that happened to me where I said that, okay, that's it. No more struggle. I refuse to do it. I'm going to give over my struggles. I'm going to lay down my burden to the Lord. Down by the riverside. Which has a profound lyric. I ain't going to study war no more. It's not that it's not that I ain't going to go to war no more. It's not even I'm not going to study it. I'm inviting you to not study struggle. Mother Teresa said, "I will not go to an anti-war rally. But if you're ever having a pro-peace rally, I'd be happy to speak at it." She made a distinction there that I invite us to make. Don't resist anything. My favorite teaching from Jesus is resist not evil. Resist not evil. I would say in new technology, it's don't make Monsanto wrong. Go about your business of whatever you're guided to do in terms of creating a better world without creating an enemy in your head that you have to resist. Yeah. So we're invited into struggle-free living and allowing ease and allowing the possibility that you can actually make more money and get more stuff done when you're letting it be easy rather than hard. What do I have left? I didn't see what time I started.
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Let me do another poem. If Dr. Seuss was on the loose and speaking at New Thought churches, I bet we'd find his talks would rhyme a lot like the following verses. Ask and it's given, it says in the Bible. But if you're like me, then you're really quite liable to ask in a way that is more like complaining. Not like let there be sun, more like make it stop raining. And if you are focused on what you don't want, the universe has no choice but to respond by delivering more of what you're focused on. It can drive you to web surf at hopeless.com. Then along comes a church, a teacher, a song that helps you to get you've been asking all wrong. Let's say you want money, more love, or a smartphone. The way to get more is to get in the God zone. The God zone is where you're receptive and calm. It's when you're tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. You get in the zone through prayer and meditation, then open your eyes and share good vibrations. Then manifestations, watch how they come. Like potato chips, you can't have just one. So let's get relief from beliefs that are making you paddle upstream till your muscles are aching, paddling madly in your quest for more ease. It's a clear classic case of mad paddler's disease. Let go of the oars, you hear somebody say. By the sweat of thy brow causes endless ivey. The current, it moves towards your wildest dreams, and nothing you want is awaiting upstream. Let's say you have nest eggs you'd love to be hatched. Your job's to become a vibrational match. To know in your heart that you fully deserve it, that the whole universe is just itching to serve it. To trust what you're drawn to is drawn to you too, just as sure as God bless you comes after.
Achoo!
Now, some find this all too materialistic, too Pollyanna, too narcissistic. They might call you selfish as you're getting bolder. But selfish is in the eyes of the beholder. Just thank them for sharing. Wish them the best. Keep on being selfish with a higher self-S. Not a selfish that's driven by greed or by fear, but a selfish that's elfish and perfectly clear. That a great way to help people out of their cages is to know that you're one with a God who's outrageous. Your natural high will be highly contagious. Serve the earth by example. It's most advantageous. Hanging out in the God zone, you like it a lot there. But don't get hung up on the way that you got there. Whether Christ, Ernest Holmes, or a Buddhist retreat, all paths lead us up to the same mountain peak. And the top of the mountain doesn't really care which teacher or method helped get you up there. And when you're on top, it's fun to slide down, to bring your good cheer to the folks on the ground. Not that you'll be on a serious mission. The world's seen enough missionary positions. Your mission's to feel great, and that is enough. Because nothing's more important than feeling God's love. That's how you give the whole world a big hug. Nothing's more important than feeling God's love. I'm going to do one more song and call it a Sermon on the Mount. And this song, when I look for teachers who embody ease, I look at kids, right, babies. I look for teachers because I need mentors. I need people who are living their life without taking it too seriously, who are effective in the world with their feet on the ground, but are ambassadors of ease. And one day I turned on the YouTube with my 6-year-old daughter, and we caught a little Mr. Rogers. And I realized that Mr. Rogers was my teacher. He's cool. And I wrote him this little tribute song and realized after the fact that I wrote this the day that he died. I had no idea. So his spirit was passing through and kind of merged with my songwriting. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. My spirit is soaring free. I've taken the weight of the world off my shoulders, found a lighter me. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. There are no locks on the doors. People come out to play every day, and we know what life is for. We laugh at the notion that love is rare. We laugh at the notion of fear. Come to each moment with cupboards bare, and open our hearts to the heaven that's here. We open our hearts to the heaven that's here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, in my body community. My organs and cells get along with each other, a happy biology. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, so we're having a block party. God has decreed there'll be joy in the street, so we sacrifice self-misery. We laugh at the notion that love is rare. We laugh at the notion of fear. We come to each moment with cupboards bare and open our hearts to the heaven that's here. We open our hearts to the heaven that's here. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Our spirit is soaring free. We've taken the weight of the world off our shoulders, found our harmony. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Mr. Rogers is singing along. Who would have known that this journey home would lead us all back to his song? Who would have known that our journey home would lead us all back to this song? A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Thank you. Thanks for joining me for this beautiful time. If you're interested in taking some of the music home or the poetry, please see me at my table. And I hope that you can come at 1 o'clock. If not, sign my email list so that I can let you know when I'm going to be in San Jose again. It's not always at this church. Tell us more about the workshop. Oh, the workshop.